All right. Good morning, everybody. I got 8:15, so I'm sure there'll be a few people logging on, but we'll get rolling here. Most of you people know me, but for those that don't, I'm Jake Andrle, sales agronomist with Legend Seeds. I live over in Ellsworth, Wisconsin. And on the call today, going over the Power of Planter Box stuff, we actually have a guest speaker, and his name is Kyle Walden. Kyle, if you can unmute and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Kyle. I work on the YMS side up in North Dakota and cover a little bit into Minnesota, a little bit into South Dakota, and just help wherever I can. Been in the biological industry for about 5 years now, dealing directly with biologicals and not much of anything else.
All right, so that Yield Master, just kind of quick run through some of our core values. Integrity, proven solutions, innovative, and ROI commitment. All four of those have to work in conjunction with one another. So the proven solutions, obviously, we're bringing forward biologicals that we feel have the ROI potential to work the best for the grower out in the country. Innovative, we're not afraid to bring out new products. We're going to talk about some of those things today, that why the products we have are a little bit different and why they have an advantage. And then that ROI commitment kind of ties in with that proven solutions. If we've proven that product is going to work out in the field, the ROI to the customer at the end of the day will follow. So and the biggest thing is on the integrity piece, we don't hide any data. We don't just bring stuff out to sell product. Everything that we put forward into this portfolio has to prove itself in our proof of concept trials as well. So, and here's kind of a map. So this is our proof of concept trial map. So this is where we test product, where we trial product, or where we've had product going. I'm pretty sure this year we're going to add a few more states onto this map. But the thing is, we will not bring a product forward if it does not enhance the ROI and if it doesn't work. There's been products we've tested in the past through the protocols and everything we've done through our knowledge plots and the proof of concept trials that were great products and they did work. But when you take the price of what they were versus the yield increase we saw, there was no real advantage to bringing them out. So those are products that just don't end up making the product guide. So go ahead, Chris. So we're kind of dedicated to this full season crop care mentality. So we got three buckets our products fit into. So the first one would be kind of priming, nourishing, and then enhancing. So priming the plant, kind of helping with stress mitigation, getting that plant ready for any kind of biotic or abiotic stress. There's lots of things, you get lots of diseases out there, weather, heat stress, drought stress, wet stress, all sorts of things. A lot of our products fit into that category or have an aspect of them that fit into that. The next one would be nourishing. So this is mainly just focused at nutrition. So you're both macro and the micronutrient side. So to help with that plant growth and development, and then in the enhancing side, through some of our biostimulants, but kind of just helping that plant build a bigger framework to put on more yield. So go ahead, Chris.
So the power of the planter box treatment, it helps give you a better germination and vigor. It provides essential microbes and nutrients directly at the germination point, which gives you faster, more even emergence. It also helps with root development. It boosts early season root development, which leads to a healthier plant, better stress tolerances, and more efficient nutrient and water uptake. Uh, Improved planting efficiency, economical microbial delivery. It helps us achieve a better seed flow, boost singulation. It delivers a high load of micros and biocontrols, which we brought on this year without expensive in-furrow equipment, and allows growers to apply it directly at the farm when they're planting it, rather than having it sit on the seed for a week or 5 days. It delivers a high load of live biology right at the planter.
So this is the product that all of our planter boxes currently are using as the carrier. So this is a product from Low Mutech called Dust. We've been selling Dust I might be wrong on this, but 2020, I think, was the first year, 2021, somewhere in there, that we were selling it as a standalone product. So what dust is it's very finely milled soybeans. So they're a very, very small particle size. It is a true talc and or graphite, whether we're using a straight talc, straight graphite, 80/20. It replaces that seed flowability aspect of those products and is the replacement. So like I said, we've been with this product for a long time. It's got a lot of different benefits. People are like, okay, well, I've been using 80/20 forever. Why would I use something like this? And I'll get into that in a minute. There's a lot of benefits, not only on the call it usability side, on the seed flowability side, but there's also benefits to why we use them with bacteria. The main reason being that the dust is made from those soybeans, and those soybeans contain amino acids and nutrition that the biology or those bacteria, depending on what product we're talking about, use as a food source to stay alive. So it's I guess you could say bacteria friendly, where we're not putting it into a harsh environment. Any products out there that use an 80/20 talc graphite or some of the other carriers, the biology can live on those products. It's just a very short shelf life before they have to get used. What's nice about this product is once it goes in the planter, say we get rained out and we're using dust plus something else. We'll go over some of those here in a minute. If we get rained out or we have an event where we cannot get out there and replant, we still have solid life of bacteria on the seed versus some products. Within 72 hours, that bacteria would be dead. So that's kind of why we've chosen to go down this road, as well as the kind of how it delivers the bacteria to the seed. So here's kind of that bacteria delivery system as just kind of hinted at. So we get a very high level of coverage on seed. So with these products, a lot of times when guys are adding them to whether we have a box planter or center fill, when we're adding it, it's a lot of them we're going to talk about. It's a 1/2 ounce use rate is kind of the targeted rate. And we'll talk about why a 1/2 ounce and not more or less in just a minute here. But so if you look on the left, so like a traditional product, so like an 80/20 talc graphite, those kind of things, when they go on the seed, it is only working through contact. So like when it comes into contact with whatever that contact point is where those bacteria get on. What's nice about our product, when you look at the right there, which would be the dust, is we're getting a high. So we have about 10,000 live cells or live bacteria cells per seed. And how that's working is through static electricity. So these products with the dust on them, we call them planter box treatments. Some people misconfuse them as they call them seed coats, but it is working in the meter of the planter. So whether we're talking a vac planter and we've got seed discs in there, we're talking a finger pickup, everything is done in that meter to inoculate the seed with the bacteria. So, and why the dust is important is it works through static electricity to evenly spread that bacteria. So when we get contact with the seed in that meter, and if you've ever opened up a seed meter using even like an 80/20 talc graphite or any other lubrication product, you open it up and what happens? Dust goes everywhere, right? Not this dust, but just particles go everywhere. That whole meter is coated with it. So what happens when we put this in a planter box is eventually it will settle down through the seed and go into the meter. Some people might think it's a bad thing, think they're losing it, but that's where that inoculation happens is we need to get that meter coated to get the solid inoculation like you see in this picture. So, and what happens is instead of just the seed bumping into a little bit of it, and we only get it to adhere right where it touched, what happens is when that bacteria hits it, static electricity will kind of charge it, and it will spread evenly over the entire seed. So you don't actually have to visually see the seed coated with any of these products, whether we're talking the Rise-A-Stack Repel, the 601, any of those. It does not have to be visually like I have to see it on every single seed, because when it goes in there, it's kind of on a microscopic level. It's kind of, I guess we can't really see with the naked eye. They have seen it, or you can see it if you dye the bacteria under a microscope. But that picture on the right is what we're getting with our product when it goes through that meter. So here's just kind of a little snapshot. So this is corn and soybean multi-year trial out of Low Mutech. I know that a couple years ago, I don't remember the exact year, but Low Mutech also entered dust into the Beck's PFR trials, and that actually won everything for the ROI on seed lubrication in that division or whatever. So looking at this picture, so it's comparing graphite to the Low Mutech, which would be our dust, and then the untreated check. So across corn and soybeans, it was increasing essentially weight for a 5-plant average. So like just after emergence, getting up and out, weighing those plants, we were winning with more biomass with that product. And the other thing is we have some products so I just was talking about it's made from soybeans, and the soybeans contain amino acids. For the people that are on this call, some of you may know the product we carry called Fortress is made with amino acids. It's kind of the same thing. We're giving that plant a shot when we're using just even straight dust. There's a tiny, tiny little bit of plant nutrition in the form of amino acids that plant can take up and utilize that wouldn't be there if we weren't putting anything on or with a straight graphite product. So that's where that little yield boost. So this graph is not with any of the biology in there. This is purely just using the dust as a standalone seed lubrication product. All right, so now I'm going to dive into kind of some of the product portfolio. So the first one is Rhizostack. So Rhizostack is the product that most of our products I'm going to talk about are built on. So this is kind of the frame of the pickup truck if you're following me here. So this is what we're building on. So whether we're making a 1500 to 2500 on the truck side, everything that we talk about from here will use the Rhizostack as the base. So there are two different forms of Rhizostack, and it is crop specific. So we have Rhizostack for corn, Rhizostack for beans. The main difference there is the strain of bacteria that's in them is specific to the crop. So the strain that's in the corn one is Terrasim 450. Is that bacteria, and the one in the beans is Terrasim 401. So what this bacteria does is it stimulates the meristematic tissue in the roots to give you a bigger root mass. It helps uptake the micronutrients, especially a lot of your heavier metals. So your iron, your manganese, can help with boron, stuff like that. A lot of your micros, if you will. It helps the plant regulate how much to bring in and pick that up through that bigger surface area. Which ultimately leads to increased yield. So this has that dust product in it as the carrier, but this is kind of the base product for everything. Formerly, we had NutriQuire Terrasim. That's still a great product, but Rhizostack moving forward for the future is going to be kind of the backbone of all of our planter box technologies. So we move into Rhizostack Repel. So this is you guys see the Rhizostack in there. So this is a 2-part product. So this is the product that is working against corn rootworm, wireworm, and armyworm. It also does have activity on stink bugs. It has activity on root knot nematode and some other things. So this can be a multi-crop product. We mainly move most of this in corn. We're going to be doing some trialing with this product actually in soybeans this year. So the Rhizostack would be whatever, where we're talking corn or beans, it would be that variety. And then the Repel is the Terrasim strain called 201 is the formulation there. So what the 201 does is it gets the plant to produce more jasmonic acid than it normally would. The jasmonic acid blocks the receptor site of corn rootworm, wireworm, armyworm that they use to essentially guide themselves, whether it's in the profile or on that leaf. It also has a very bitter taste, and it's not very friendly to the insect's gut. So then what happens is the larva will either stop and go the other direction. In the armyworm case, they'll stop feeding, crawl off the plant and die. The wireworm, they'll avoid that feeding. And then through that, whether it be we're keeping the plant from losing roots, or we're not getting we're getting more seeds out of the ground because wireworm's not piercing that growing point. All of those things that leads to the increase in yield. Why I like this product, and this is probably my favorite one we carry in the planter box space. The reason it's my favorite is the corn on corn environments. I live in Wisconsin. We have a lot of corn on corn acres as you go into southern Minnesota all the way down through northeast Iowa. A lot of corn on corn acres, and a lot of guys on corn acres. It's usually our better yielding acres. So guys are always like more willing to try a product or look at something to, hey, how do I increase my yield? What can I do? The nice part about this product is some guys will tell me, well, I'm using traded corn, I'm using insecticide. Why would I use this? Traded corn doesn't turn on, or the gene doesn't turn on to make the proteins that kill the insects until about V5 or V6. So we really don't have protection, and that's on the rootworm side, I should say. We don't have that early protection. On the flip side, insecticide runs out of residual. We have protection right away, but we're not getting it on the backside. We run out. Rhizostack Repel, the repel portion of that is producing that jasmonic acid and providing control season long. Say we have a year in environment situation where, we thought we were going to have apocalyptic rootworm levels and they just don't show up or they're not present, whatever. Or maybe like in Minnesota and even eastern South Dakota, we're dealing with a lot of extended diapause on rootworm and using this product in corn soybean rotations. And guys are like, well, what if I don't actually have the rootworm pressure? Why would I use this? We still have the Rhizostack at the base, which is that plant biostimulant to get that increase in yield. So not only, say the rootworm don't show up or we have zero pests show up, yeah, the repel is really not going to do a lot for you, but we still have that consistency and yield with that Rhizostack in that product. So, all right. So the next one here would be our Rhizostack plus TS601. So this is going to be new for a lot of people on the call. We've kind of talked about it a little bit here and there. This is kind of the big launch for this one, I guess. So this one, still has that base of Rhizostack, but the TS601 is a new EPA registered biofungicide. I did a lot of trialing with this product last year. I had it on corn, I had it on soybeans, I had it in environments with pretty much every disease under the sun, whether it be southern rust, tar spot, northern corn leaf blight on the corn side, white mold, Cercospora, anthracnose, all of that stuff on the bean side, sudden death syndrome. And this product, I really had trouble making it not work. It exceeded my expectations greatly, I'll say. So we tested it last year as a seed coat. Now we do have the planter box version. The reason that we're selling both versions today is the 601 we sell as a standalone as a seed coat option for treating on soybeans or corn. The Rhizostack is added in there. There is a synergistic effect when you can get that bigger root system, right? If I have something that's gonna essentially make the plant healthier, we're gonna get the plant primed up to think there's disease out there. If I have a bigger root system, I can take up more resources, I can take up more nutrients, I can take up more water. It's kind of like me if I'm getting up at 5 a.m. every day and going to bed at midnight and everything, and all of a sudden my immune system starts to drag a little bit if I'm not keeping up with myself. What'll happen? Probably get a cold, probably get some sort of sickness, right? Well, if I have all the resources, if I go to bed and get 9 hours of sleep a night, or I'm eating good, those kind of things, I have a better chance to fight that off. So, and then we're adding, giving it that extra protection with that 601. So there's a very good synergistic effect there between the two. And this is also so that it contains dust to get it on the seed is the lubrication carrier there. But this is a product I'm very, very excited about. This year for the proof of concept trials, and we'll have some whole field trials, we're actually going to trial the Rhizostack plus the Repel plus the TS601. So it'll be a 3-way planter box application, and we are actually testing that on corn and on soybeans. So that's not for sale right now, but we do have that as a test product for 2026. So stay tuned on that. But
Okay, the next product is OmniSync. This has been in the lineup for a few years now. Essentially, it's a planter box treatment for small grains. It contains key micronutrients. It's got your phosphorus solubilizers, nitrogen fixating bacteria like your azobacters, azospirillum, and mycorrhizal fungi. This combination allows better emergence early on and better plant health throughout the season. It improves your water use efficiency. It helps with your soil health and structure. It can also help suppress certain soil-borne pathogens and competes with the harmful microbes in the soil to improve overall soil health. It gives us very consistent yields, whether it's high yield environments, lower yield environments, on years where we have more stressful growing season, whether it's early on during seeding or drought stress throughout the season. We see a lot more consistent above average results on it. And it's not a replacement for insecticides or fungicides, but it does help suppress some of that throughout the growing season. So it's just some best practices for planter box products. Extra seed lubricant, adding talc graphite or more dust to these products is not needed. Those packages are uh, weighed out, and so you got the perfect amount to treat a box of corn or a box of beans. The seed is being treated in the meter. You don't need to mix it. I know selling planter box treatments for the past 5 6 years now. One of the most common questions I've been asked is, well, how do I apply it? Because it's not just your typical seed lubricant. You have microbes in there. You have biofungicides, bioinsecticides, and guys want to make sure they are getting enough on the seed and doing it the correct way. So the simplest way to do it is just if you're using a seed tender, just apply it at the bottom of the seed tender. Um, and that product will mix and coat the seed up the seeds conveyor, and then as it mixes and fills up the planter, you turn that or you spin that lid on and you start planting, and it'll help. Like Jake said, it's different charged particles, so it adheres to the seed, and you shouldn't have any concern about getting the product on the seed. Avoid keeping these products in high heat environments. They're just like us as humans or animals. High heat, sitting in a pickup seat on a 80-degree day is not good for it. Some of those biologicals will die in there if you do that. Um, you can apply it through a dry applicator, box to box at planting. It gives you a lot of flexibility to get products on the seed on for the grower's benefit.
So, but I appreciate everybody attending. Jake, thank you, Jake and Kyle, for presenting, and that does conclude this call.